Hello and welcome to DieCastRestos. I'm Jason and this is Lesney's Matchbox 22C Pontiac G.P Sports Coupé. It was produced from 1965, then joined the new Superfast range in 1970, but it was deleted within a year of the switchover. All regular wheels castings came painted either red or a brighter orange red, and all were fitted with a light grey plastic interior. There were no other major changes to the exterior during the 5 years of regular wheels production. My example looks to have been repainted red at some point in its past. There's spots of paint left covering the windscreen, the base and the silver trim on the grille and the headlights. Here's an image of a pristine Pontiac model, and here's a real 1964 Pontiac Grand Prix on which the model is based. The regular wheels model initially had doors held in place by the plastic interior, which also incorporated the suspension. This model uses this method. Later ones had a metal spring to secure the doors. Very early Superfast examples came in the same similar red colour before switching to a gorgeous purple clear coat over silver primer. Some rare versions had opening doors, but these were quickly cast shut. This, I think, is the only Matchbox Superfast transitional casting where I actually prefer the new one over the regular wheels type. The Pontiac was replaced by the rather uninspiring Freeman Intercity Commuter at 22D. That said, the Freeman does have a great backstory, but that's for another day. Having previously restored Chevrolet Impalas like the 57B Impala back in May, and the 20C Impala Taxi way back on Valentine's Day, I would have crept into the territory of the Pontiac Grand Prix. That's because each shared the same platform in the 1st, 6th and 7th generations of the Pontiac's lifespan. The first generation Grand Prix was produced from 1962 until 1968, with this casting based on the 1964 model year. It was designed as a performance-oriented replacement for the Pontiac Ventura, becoming a luxury trim level for the full-sized Pontiac Catalina. Before I delve too far though, it has reached the point of paint stripping. The first 1962 Grand Prix was a hardtop coupe trimmed to the standards of the range-topping Pontiac Bonneville, another vehicle I talk about in my 39B video from October. The standard engine was the Bonneville's 389 cubic inch V8, though the 421 V8 was an available option. The 1963 car had Pontiac's trademark split grille with vertical headlights, while it continued to be fitted with high-end trim, including real walnut on the instrument panel. The 1964 car again had a revised grille, before more changes were brought about for the 1965 car. This had a restyled exterior featuring a Coke bottle profile. Little changed on the 66 car, but the 1967 Grand Prix had concealed and once again horizontally positioned headlights. It also had uprated engines, with a 400 cubic inch V8 replacing the 389 and a 428 V8 replacing the 421. This was the only model year to feature a convertible Grand Prix. The last first-gen GP was the 1968 model year, which had a more prominent nose and had a new front bumper. The second generation Grand Prix was based on GM's G platform, sharing this with the Chevrolet Chevelle and Monte Carlo, the Buick Regal, Oldsmobile Cutlass Supreme, and the Pontiac Le Mans. Its production run covered 1968 to 1972. The second generation created a new niche in the personal luxury car market after declining sales of its full-sized predecessor. Its initial sales were quadruple that of the 1968 Grand Prix. The 1972 third generation Grand Prix once again switched platform to GM's A body. These cars were much larger and heavier than the second generation, due to the safety laws such as the 5 mph bumper rulings. Performance was down too due to the greater emissions restrictions. Despite this, the bulkier car handled better than the second generation due to improved suspension. The third gen set sales records for the Grand Prix line, selling over 150,000 units. In 1978, a downsized A-platform 4th generation was revealed, where a V6 became standard for the first time instead of the traditional V8 unit. It was shorter and lighter than before, and the platform switched again from A to G body in 1982, after the A platform swapped to front-wheel drive only. Production of the 4th generation continued until 1987, when the now front-wheel drive W-body based 5th generation entered the market. An inline-4 engine was offered on a Grand Prix for the first time in 1990. The 6th gen used GM's W-body platform once again, with the sedan being full-sized, while the coupe remained mid-size. Production ran from 1996 to 2003. The final 7th generation Grand Prix ran from 2003 to 2008. For the 2009 model year, the Grand Prix was discontinued and replaced by the larger Pontiac G8. However, the G8 was discontinued in June 2009. The Pontiac brand was dissolved in 2010 as part of GM's reorganisation. With that, I screw the base secure. So let's remind ourselves of how the 22C Pontiac G.P Sports Coupé looked to begin with. It had its red bodywork covered sloppily with more red at some point in its history, concealing the headlights and partially covering the grille. The bodywork was otherwise patchy and had obviously been well played with. Most of the tow hook had disappeared, but I reformed some of it with a bit of heat off camera. So let's see how this garish Grand Prix now presents. The casting has received a smooth, fresh coat of Tamiya's TS8 Italian red, so it's looking considerably healthier without that blotchy body. I removed the paint that stained the plastics, so the windshield is much sharper following a polish, as is the interior, likewise the tow hook. Again, the distinctive concave windscreen is much more noticeable now it's been cleaned and polished, while the axle ends leap out following a chrome coating. Equally, the grille and headlights transform that front end after a hit of Molotow. So that's it for this week. Be sure to tune in to my next release that celebrates 100 restorations or custom videos. Check out my Patreon and Instagram for all the latest, and don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again for number 100. Bye for now.